is actually such a situation, which really surprised Xianxia. He had never thought that the opening of the Emperor Garden was for the entire star territory. He had always thought that only the cultivators of the shadowed star would enter it, thinking this accident was a blessing in disguise for the cultivators on the shadowed star. After all, the number of rivals in competition increased a lot, and the danger would also increase a lot. Thinking of this, Xianxia was shocked, and said, "Island Master Min, can there be strong people from the Void King realm to enter here?" Hearing his question, Min Sha smiled slightly and waved his hand. "Little friend Yang can rest assured. There is no Void King realm powerhouse here." He had the same worries as Xianxia before. After all, their star world's spiritual energy is not too strong, and the cultivation resources are not too rich. Although there is no law of heaven and earth to suppress the cultivation, there are only a handful of martial artists who can be promoted to the Void King realm for nearly 1,000 years. Since then, there has never been a cultivator of the Void King realm on Azure Tree Star. With his cultivation level of 3rd order Void Return stage, he is already the top master on Azure Tree Star. This is exactly the same as Shadowed Star. Entering this place with such a cultivation realm, he thought it was safe, but he didn't expect to accidentally learn that the cultivators of other stars could also enter this place. Naturally, he was frightened and afraid of encountering a strong opponent here. However, after some inquiries, he was overjoyed. He didn't know what kind of mystery and magic this place has. It didn't allow any Void King realm powerhouse to enter it. In other words, the most powerful cultivator who can enter this place is the same level as him. Hearing Min Sha's explanation, Xianxia couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief, his expression calming a lot. Although he has also been promoted to the Void Return stage now, he can compete against the 3rd order Void Return stage powerhouse, but he certainly has no power to fight back in front of the Void King realm powerhouse. If he really encounters the Void King realm here, then the consequences is unimaginable. The situation is not too bad. Xianxia pondered for a while, and suddenly asked with a solemn expression, then dared ask, "Is this place the Emperor Garden?" Min Sha hasn't answered yet. The petite woman in a black dress answered from the side, "Of course this is the Emperor Garden. We all entered here through the space law formation with the Emperor Jade. If this is not the Imperial Garden, what else can it be?" She looked funny and looked at Xianxia with interest. "Since it is the Emperor Garden, why?" Xianxia frowned. "Little friend wanted to ask, why is it different from what you imagined?" Min Sha looked at him with a smile. Xianxia nodded lightly. "In your imagination, the Emperor Garden is the great Emperor's courtyard. There should be a grand and large-scale palace." "True. That's natural. 100,000 miles away from here, there is that palace, and that is the real Emperor Garden," Min Sha said, pointing in a direction. Xianxia's eyes lit up. Min Sha laughed and said, "But the Emperor Garden is the great Emperor's courtyard. Naturally, it is impossible to have only such a huge and magnificent palace. There are also large territories around the palace. The grassland where we are now is part of it. Except for the grassland, the surroundings of Emperor Garden are respectively surrounded by swamps, deserts and oceans. The dangers contained in each area are different, and the position of the cultivators who enter this place holding the Emperor Jade is also different. Well, our luck is not bad here on the grassland. The danger is the lowest, but it's not to be underestimated." "That's the case." Xianxia put on a face of being taught. If he didn't ask someone to ask about this kind of thing, he would really be not sure. Before talking with Min Sha, he was still wondering if this place was an Emperor Garden, since the real Emperor Garden is over there. "Why are you here, Island Master Min?" Xianxia looked at the 5 people in amazement, not understanding why they would let go of this heaven-sent opportunity. Instead of going deep into the Emperor Garden, they stay on the grassland. Min Sha smiled bitterly, and said, "It's a long story. Let's put it this way. Although the Emperor Garden has a lot of treasures, but the inside is extremely dangerous, not to mention the extremely hidden forbidden formations and ancient puppets that have long been lost. There are countless strong people concentrated in the Emperor Garden at this moment. The old man and others originally entered this place together. But look at it, little friend, how many do we have now? Listening to his explanation, Xianxia immediately understood that these 5 people probably encountered some great danger in the Emperor Garden, so they were scared to go back. This is not difficult to understand. After all, everyone has only one life. Although the treasures and opportunities are full of temptation, if the life is gone, how can there be a chance to enjoy it? It seems that Emperor Garden is a little different from when he went in last time. The degree of danger should be greatly increased, otherwise the 5 people will not be so afraid. It is not surprising to think about it. The last time he went in with Fei Jitu and the others, the Emperor Garden was not officially opened, and it made sense that some of the restriction formations were closed. Seeing Xianxia in contemplation, Min Sha didn't bother him. After a while, he smiled heartily and exclaimed, "But little friend Yang must not underestimate the periphery of the Emperor's Garden. Whether it's a grassland, swamp, desert, or ocean, there are also all kinds of opportunities that make people jealous hidden insides." "Oh, why do you say that?" Xianxia couldn't help but get excited. "That palace is located in the Great Emperor's courtyard, but little friend Yang, you think the Great Emperor would live alone during his lifetime? There were always some servants, some disciples and so on. What is the realm of the Great Emperor's cultivation?" The old man didn't dare to speculate, but even those who served him had a high level of cultivation. And those disciples, not all of them lived in the Emperor Garden, but scattered outside, so the outside of the Imperial Garden, there are many hidden caves in these places. As long as one can be found, it's already worth the trip for this old man and the others. Min Sha said as he stroked his long beard. A red light appeared on his face. Yes, in addition to these hidden caves, there are many magical herbs that have long been extinct from the outside world, as well as rare minerals, and some rare monster beasts such as the variant of the colorful elk just now. If you can kill it. The petite woman was halfway talking, and suddenly stopped, looking at Xianxia a little embarrassingly, as if she had remembered what had happened just now and didn't know how to continue. Xianxia smiled, and didn't care, not only because he hadn't suffered losses, but because he had gains, but also because the 5 people told him so much information at this moment. Based on this alone, all the previous events have been wiped out. Has anyone found those hidden cave mansion? Xianxia asked casually. Yes. Min Sha nodded solemnly. A look of envy appeared on his face. Just 3 days ago, someone found a hidden cave in a certain part of the grassland, and brought out a Void King grade artifact from it. There are also a lot of spirit pill wonderful medicine. Speaking of this, Min Sha breathing is a bit short. The Azure Tree Star situation is almost the same as that of Shadowed Star, and the temptation of the Void King grade artifact is not small. Since the news has spread, it seems that the person's end is not very good. Xianxia's mouth was slightly raised. Min Sha looked at Xianxia with admiration. Little friend Yang hit the nail on the head. That person is indeed being chased by many people. The old man doesn't know exactly how he will end up, but I don't think it will be a good life. Xianxia nodded lightly, saying nothing more. Those who should be inquired were already asked. It was enough to know that this was indeed the Emperor Garden, and also found out the location of the Emperor Garden. Xianxia is not planning to stay outside. Although he don't know when the Emperor Garden will be completely closed, there must be a time limit. Before that, he still has at least 2 things to do, 2 things to find. Both of these things were encountered the last time he entered the Emperor Garden, but he had no time or ability to deal with them. Now that his strength has greatly increased, he naturally wants to give it a try. Little friend Yang, depending on your appearance, you have entered this place alone, right? If you trust the old man, how about working with us? If you find something good, the 6 of us will divide it equally, and you will never suffer. Not knowing what the reason was, Min Sha actually invited Xianxia. Islandman's kindness, Xianxia has received. Yang Kai didn't even think about it, shook his head and refused. Although I am alone now, I am not coming in alone. I still have a companion waiting, so I have to find them. That's the case. A pity flashed across Min Sha's face, and he didn't mean to force it. He said freely and easily, if that's the case, then be an old man will not say anything. Well, everyone, take care, this young is leaving. Yang Kai got up and clasped his fists slightly, and immediately shook his figure, rushing out of this secret cave mansion, then looking for a direction, and flew over there. After Yang Kai left in the cave, the black-haired old man looked at Min Sha and said suspiciously, Brother Min, why did you invite this kid? His strength is not too strong. The others were also blank, wondering what Min Sha meant. Min Sha laughed and explained, although his strength is nothing, but since he can escape his life from the variant of the colorful elk, the speed must be top-notch. The old man invited him to join, just wanting him to explore for us. It's just a road, but since the other party doesn't mean it, then forget it. A few people suddenly realized. Don't mention this, let's study carefully how to kill the variant of the colorful elk. If it can be killed, the value of the sachet and the core definitely high. Min Sha's face was serious. Several people nodded their heads, and immediately began to plan carefully. They didn't know that the variant of the colorful elk had already been captured by Yang Kai, and the sachet and core had already been stored in Yang Kai's space ring. At this moment, Yang Kai was flying in the direction of the Emperor Garden. According to Min Sha, the Emperor Garden is 100,000 miles away from this place. This distance with the speed of Yang Kai, it will take 3 or 2 days to reach it, so he is not in a hurry. He is calm and indifferent on the surface, but in the depths of his heart he is full of expectations. Full of desire. He is eager to meet Su Yan here. To be continued.